Sunny Crouch began her working life as a science teacher, then completed a marketing degree before finding her passion in the area of property development and regeneration of urban areas. She's the director of a company which has been heavily involved with breathing new life into London's East Side, and she sits on various boards as well. We asked Sunny to describe what she does.
Well, I've got a really interesting job at the moment because I've got a range of roles. I'm a director of a property development company, and we're actually standing now in one of the apartments that we've just completed that we're selling. We're right next to Canary Wharf and the Dome and the City, and we'll see all those in a moment. So my job at the moment is property development. However, because I'm quite a senior lady these days, I've been invited to be a board member of a number of other things. So I'm a board member of the Thurrock Thames Gateway Development Corporation. That is a regeneration agency that works out in Thurrock, in Essex, east of London, where our job is to create 18,000 new homes and 26,000 new jobs, and all of the community and social infrastructure and transport infrastructure that goes with that. I'm also on the board of an organisation called Places for People. This is the 5th largest house builder in the UK, and again it has a regeneration base to it. So we build homes from market for sale, market rent, social rent, equity share, and then into those schemes that we create we put support for jobs and training and childcare, so that people who move into these places, which I hope are good places, have the chance to get jobs to help look after the places and other jobs as well. Children looked after so they can create jobs. So that's very exciting, being involved with that as well. And then I also do some things I'm not paid for, and one of those is on the board of an organisation called London First, which is an organisation of major businesses in London who've clubbed together and formed this organisation whose job is to concentrate on trying to make London a better place to be. And then last but by no means least, I'm very honoured to be a governor of the University of East London. And what I love about my involvement with that university is very much what I love about my involvement with this website, which is that it's trying to help young people to explore what they can be, what they can do. Well, I think like many women, I was sort of late in coming to the idea that I actually love working. It gives me a buzz. If you get the right kind of job, then you just love doing it, and it gives you enormous personal satisfaction. So the answer is I got into it fairly slowly. I started off with a science degree. I thought I was going to be a science teacher. And I did teach in a school for a while, for a year. And I thought, I've been to school, I've been to college, which is like grown-up school, I'm back in a school again. Do I really want to stay here for the pension? And I loved doing it, and I thought, well, I will come back one day for the pension, but between now and then, I just need to go out and do something else. And for a whole variety of reasons, I actually ended up, on the basis of my science qualifications, as a marketing assistant in a pharmaceutical company. It was an international pharmaceutical company, just started in the UK. So I was the 5th executive to join them. But because they're so big internationally and they had a range of good products that it was our job to bring into the UK market, I kind of got heaved up from below, and in not very much time at all, found myself the group product manager, and then the export manager, and I absolutely loved all that. Well, where I was living in Portsmouth, it became very run down because the Navy was being cut by a government decision, and they decided to try to regenerate the Portsmouth economy through tourism, and the way you do that is through marketing. So I went for the job, 300 applicants, only one woman, and I got it. And that was just wonderful.
Sunny has succeeded in a traditionally male-dominated environment. Does she have any tips for this?
Well, how do you succeed in a man's world? I think the answer is ignore it to yourself. I don't feel like a woman at work. I look like one, but I don't feel like a woman. When I'm working, I feel like a professional. I think if you take yourself as a professional, other people take you as a professional. Also, this feeling about, oh, you know, women shouldn't be doing this. But again, just ignore all that. Don't let it get to you. Just do it and be good at it, and they'll accept you at it. And that's something else I would say to anybody. If you want to switch careers, get the qualification. It shows that you're serious. It also gives you just the most enormous confidence in what you're doing. The best bit of the nature of the work that I do, which is regeneration, and I hope this doesn't sound too almost smug maybe, but the best bit is this feeling that at the end of the day, if I and my colleagues have done our job right, then people are in work they wouldn't have had, they're in homes that wouldn't have been built, in a landscape that wouldn't have been so good, with health facilities and educational facilities that wouldn't have been there, on roads that certainly weren't here when I started work with the Development Corporation. So having a job where you feel the bottom line of it is it actually makes other people's places and lives better is the most satisfying thing I think anybody could do. And I love and feel very privileged to have, by absolute accident, found my talents working in that field.
We asked Sunny to tell us the best advice she's ever received.
When I was growing up, a young teenager, I had this friend at school who had the most enormous long black eyelashes, quite natural. And I bought eyelash curlers and mascara and falso, and I spent hours and hours and hours trying to make my stubby little eyelashes like hers. And, you know, I tried to dress the way she dressed, and I'm quite different to her, and it always looked odd on me. And one day I'm spending time in my room, kind of, this girl's name was Glynis, trying to look like Glynis. And my dad came in and he said, "What are you doing?" I must have been there with the eyelash girl. And I said, "Oh, Glynis got these lovely long eyelashes, I'm trying to curl my eyelashes." And he said to me, he was in quite a temper actually, but it was such a profound thing to say. He said, "Why don't you stop being a second-rate Glynis and be a first-rate you?" And that piece of information, at the time I was cross back with him, because you are when you're a teenager, but it slowly sank in. And a first bit of advice I give to anybody is, if you're going to get the best out of yourself, you've got to start by going into yourself and being honest with yourself. Don't try and ape other people, don't try and copy other people. Try and find out what's in you. Everyone's got good stuff in them. But the only person who can find it really is you, because you're the only person who really, really knows what's right inside your head. So number one, be a first-rate you. Don't copy others. Second thing, when I got a senior job, a chief exec that I was reporting to brought me in, and he said, "Sunny Crouch, don't ever take no for an answer." That's a magnificent piece of advice. Now you will get no's, but it's astonishing how often you'll find you can go back to the same person with the same idea on a different day, dressed up slightly differently in the paperwork, and get it through. And if I get something like that, I come out with them and go, yes, because they don't know what I've just done to them. I've got this image in my head of the most successful business person I know, and it happens that for a while I was on the board of one of Lord Hanson's boards. So I don't know him at all well, but in my mind I have this image of this immensely capable, successful, important person. And if I'm struggling with something, I think, how would Lord Hanson do this? And I do it the way Lord Hanson would do it, because I know he would and he could, and I do it that way, and I can do it. Of course he wouldn't, he doesn't, I have no idea what he would actually do, but because I think, well, how would he approach this? How would this big, important, successful person do it? And I do it that way, it works. And it's surprising when you first try this technique how often it works, and actually gradually, clearly you do become more confident because you know in your heart it wasn't him doing it, you had no idea how he did it, it was you doing it. But distancing yourself from your own sense of lack of confidence and lack of self-worth, distance yourself from that into the mindset of somebody who could do it, and you find out that person turns out to be you.
So what does Sunny know now that she wishes she'd known a lot earlier?
I can do it. I know I can do it. If I want to do it badly enough, if I work hard enough at it, I can do it. And I wish I'd known that earlier and got started earlier. I'd have a lot more money and be a lot more successful than I am now. Though I am, comparatively speaking, reasonably well paid and reasonably successful, but I didn't get going soon enough. I wish someone had said to me very early on what I hope I'm saying to somebody out there now. Go for it.